Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. Firstly, those who are celebrating the festival of Eid al-Zuha today, very happy Eid Mubarak to all you and your families as well. And those who celebrated the Eid festival yesterday, belated Eid Mubarak to you. Though in my yesterday's video I had wished everybody Eid Mubarak for those who celebrated the festival yesterday as well. Okay, so today I wanted to make a very important video and a very special video as a gift as a Eid gift to all those who have subscribed to my channel or who are going to view this particular video of mine. And it's a very good gift because I think this will solve a lot of challenges in your life. And this pertains to how do you ensure that yogas work for you, and most of the yogas will work for you, and what causes yogas to go bad. If yogas are not working for you, then what is the reason why yogas don't work for you. The reason why I am sharing this with you, or the reason why yogas don't work for you, one is the astrological reason why a yoga is spoiled, and that is a very important thing. And you can easily make out that there is an astrological reason why I have got 4 yogas and most of the yogas are not working. One yoga is spoiled by aspects, one yoga is spoiled by bad conjunctions, one yoga is not so strong, one yoga is in with a planet which is debilitated, and so a lot of yogas can be spoiled. All of us have multiple yogas in our horoscope, yet we find that yogas seem to work for some people more than the others. Sometimes a Gajkesari yoga in the same placement for one, with almost the same strength for one, may not work with the same strength, with the same placement, with the same ascendant for somebody else. Why does this happen? So if you have multiple yogas, some yoga should click and give us good luck. But seldom does it happen for someone or for a lot of us that a lot of yogas work for us. Some yogas show some strength here and there. However, most of the yogas don't work. So there are various reasons. One reason that the yoga doesn't work is because the yoga is not strong. And I've said this in many videos before also, that for a yoga to be strong, yoga is a combination of energies. So if a Gajkesari yoga has to be strong, then the conjunction of Moon and Jupiter has to be in close degrees. Second reason I gave you was that if they are not in conjunction but they are placed in either aspect or in kendra to each other, then they should be more or less in the same room for degrees. That means they should be in the same band of degrees. Both the planets should be not more than 3 or 4 degrees different between each other. So if say for example Jupiter is in the first house at 10 degrees, then Moon in a kendra in the 4th house should not be more than 5 degrees difference. That means they should not be less than 5 degrees and should not be more than 15 degrees. So that the difference from 10 degrees of Jupiter at any given point of time is not more than 5 degrees. The more difference in degrees between Jupiter and Moon happens either when they are placed together or when they are in kendra to each other, the yoga becomes softer and softer or weaker and weaker. That is the second thing, that the conjunction is not good enough, the conjunction is not strong enough. The third reason I had given, and in many videos I have repeated this again and again, is that when the yoga is formed in an inimical sign to the planets. So if Gajkesari yoga is being formed in the Capricorn sign where Jupiter gets debilitated and Moon loses most of its strength, then the yoga will not be able to work for you. And the other is Scorpio sign, for example. Both Jupiter and Moon don't do very well in Scorpio. In fact, Moon gets debilitated in the Scorpio sign. And then if it's formed in a house where it loses most of its strength. So these are some of the things that I've said. And why the yoga may lose its strength? Because both the planets lose a lot of directional strength in that respective house. So that is another reason. One more reason could be that they are so strongly afflicted. The yoga is very strong. And in fact, Jupiter and Moon in Cancer in the 4th house where Jupiter is exalted, Moon has its own sign, is a strong Gajkesari yoga. But if you place 2 malefics with it, say Ketu and Saturn are placed in that, and Mars is aspecting it from the 10th house, then 3 malefics getting involved in the yoga destroys most of the auspiciousness of the yoga. So there are various things which can spoil or yoga and not allow the yoga to work. The other reason why a lot of yogas can be spoiled or they don't work for you is when some placements or some astrological combinations involve very, very important attributes. For example, if the Lagna Lord is debilitated and both Sun and Moon are debilitated or severely afflicted, then such a person may not be able to use the yogas that the person has in his horoscope. And most of the yogas, however strong they are, will become redundant. So the strength of Sun and Moon and the Lagna Lord are absolutely crucial for somebody to do very well in life and for yogas to click for them. Now, there are various shlokas which say that if Sun and Moon are well placed, then to a large extent most of the afflictions are gone from your life, and your life will still be good and auspicious, and not a lot of negativity and afflictions will be spoiling your life. So this is there in a number of shlokas, and I have given this shloka in my earlier videos also. So Sun and Moon's placement is crucial, and we'll come to it later why I'm talking about Sun and Moon. The other thing is that, and about this particular placement, if the Lagna Lord is debilitated and both Sun and Moon are debilitated or severely afflicted, you will rarely find someone who does very, very well in life with this combination. So I have not come across something of such, but if you are able to show me something which somebody where the Lagna Lord is debilitated and Sun and Moon are severely afflicted, yet they have done very, very well in life, and you can show me multiple horoscopes, please show me, because this is a very rare thing that all the three are debilitated, severely afflicted, yet the person has done very well. And those rare cases become even rarer, like 1 in a million, if Sun and Moon are debilitated or severely afflicted, the Lagna Lord is debilitated, and the 5th and 9th house are also severely afflicted, yet the person has done extremely well in life, will be a very, very rare combination. You will not be able to find. So when somebody says, are there any absolute rules in astrology? This is one of the absolute rules. If the Lagna Lord, Sun, Moon are debilitated, and if 5th and 9th house are severely afflicted, then such a person will not be able to climb very high seats of power, influence, abundance, prosperity in life. So this is one reason why yoga can get spoiled. The other is if you have 2 or 3 strong afflictions in the Lagna itself. One is the Lagna Lord is debilitated and you have 2 or 3 strong afflictions in the Lagna. So for example, a debilitated planet is placed there, another malefic is placed there, aspect of another malefic is there. So if there are Lagna Lord is debilitated plus 3 or 4 afflictions are in the Lagna or aspecting the Lagna, then too a lot of the yogas for such a person don't work. The other reason is Aristha. Aristha is affliction. If Moon is severely afflicted and the Kendra houses have strong affliction, then too most of the yogas don't work. Firstly, a lot of yogas are formed in the Kendras. All the Panch Mahapurush yogas are formed in the Kendra, and Gajkesari yoga will also be stronger in the Kendra than in other houses. So if there is severe affliction of the Moon, plus there are the 4 Kendra houses are under severe affliction, where one of the Lagna Lords, one of the Kendra Lords is debilitated, another Kendra Lord is placed in a inimical sign with another malefic planet, third Kendra has a bad yoga, just for example a Vish yoga. If this happens, then too, because of the Aristha as well as the Kendras being spoiled, then too the yogas don't work for a person. Now that is, these are all astrological reasons why the yogas don't work. Now why is it that sometimes you don't find astrological reasons also being not so severe, yet the person does not seem to have the good luck of the yogas clicking? Why does this happen? That is a behavioral attribute of the person, which is, if the person is arrogant in life, if the person is too boastful and too haughty and too proud of himself or herself, then most of the yogas don't work for such a person. Now it's easy to say that I'm not haughty person or arrogant person, and I'm very humble. So most of the people will say that. Very rarely will somebody say, yes, I am arrogant. People will say, yes, I'm aggressive, I'm assertive, I don't give in to my self-respect. We will say that we are humble and we are very down to earth, or we stand up only for our self-respect. Very rarely will somebody understand and agree that yes, I have strains of arrogance, I have strains of being overly proud or boastful, and I am guilty of being arrogant. Very few people and very rarely people will accept this. And I have not come across even one person yet who said, yes, I am very, very arrogant. Some people may say, yes, I am arrogant every now and then, but not so arrogant. So that is the very, very important thing, when in spite of most of the astrological placements being good yogas being present, sometimes 2 or 3 very good ones, yet the yogas don't work, the yogas don't click. And the reason that the yogas don't work is because the person is too proud, too boastful, too haughty, too arrogant. And arrogance is something that the supreme energy, the supreme lord, and none of the deities like. Definitely the astrological planetary deities, the 7 planetary deities, sun, moon and the rest of the 5 planets, don't like arrogance and haughtiness. Even Rahu and Ketu, they don't denote arrogance. They may denote, like Ketu, giving up or negating, or Rahu may put on an act of being boastful. But many times a person with strong Rahu, especially a very, very afflicting Rahu, may not be very boastful by itself, but a combination of 3 or 4 things may give a probability of a person being arrogant or being too boastful. Now, why did I talk about sun and moon as very important planets, because of which the astrological yogas that are present in our horoscope, most of them may not work. One is, when you say somebody is arrogant, they are arrogant in the mind. The mind says that you are somebody great, you are somebody powerful, and you are unique, you are very good, you are the best, and because of which a person becomes proud, haughty or boastful. So when the mind or the moon is afflicted, the manas is afflicted. And the second is when your sun is afflicted. Sun stands for pride. Sun stands for being boastful, and sun is the primary planet or the planetary entity or the energy which can make somebody haughty and boastful, because sun gives you the self-respect and the pride, but more pride, over the line self-respect becomes arrogance. And so that's why if sun and moon are afflicted or under severe stress from a Rahu, then the person can be very arrogant and boastful also. Especially if sun, moon and Rahu are in the Lagna, then the person can be very, very arrogant and haughty. The other thing is, if you have an afflicted Jupiter and Mercury also in the Lagna, then too, in spite of Jupiter being involved, Jupiter being afflicted, the person is not able to use his wisdom. In fact, on the other hand, Mercury becomes too analytical and too complaining, too correcting of others. So because of being too analytical about others, too correcting of others, too complaining of others, and thinking that other people are not of the same quality as themselves, so the wisdom of Jupiter is compromised because of an afflicted Jupiter, and the other side of wisdom is foolishness. So foolish sense of pride, of self-respect, bordering on arrogance is seen with a afflicted Jupiter with a Mercury in the Lagna also. Now let's look at some of the astrological texts, what they say about what can make somebody an arrogant person, because of which most of the yogas are spoiled or destroyed in the person's horoscope, and they don't give the results that should otherwise come to the person, or there should be a high chance or high probability of the yogas clicking for the person. The work Adbhuta Sagara talks of the 6 states described by Shiva himself. These 6 states are Lajjita or bashful, Garvita or arrogant, Shuddhita or troubled by hunger, Turushita or thirsty, Mudita or delighted, and Shobita or agitated. So if the sun is in a Garvita avastha, then the person can be arrogant. So the sun is a very important planet in terms of what avastha the person's sun is, because of which the person can be very boastful or arrogant or have a false sense of pride or self-respect. Jihora says, Tudasthana gato vapi trikonepi bhavet punna garvita sopi gadito munibhi krita nischaya. I translate, a planet in its exaltation sign or more trikona sign is said to be in Garvita avastha or arrogant state. So an exalted sun is the biggest culprit of making somebody arrogant or giving a sense of arrogance to the person and giving excess of pride. So an exalted sun in Aries, especially in the Lagna, can be a wake-up call for somebody that if you have an exalted sun in the Lagna, then you have a higher chance of being too proud, too arrogant and too haughty. If you have an exalted sun, especially in the Lagna, then be very, very careful of how you carry yourself in life, because your reputation from outside could be that of a person, or from the outside world could be that they see you as somebody who's too haughty, too arrogant. Sometimes people may not tell you that, people may not give you the feedback, but people may think that about you. The second thing is sun, which is exalted in the 10th house in Aries, for a Cancer ascendant native may also give you that kind of a placement. The third is, if you are a Taurus ascendant native and sun gets exalted in the 12th house, then you may make unrealistic plans, unrealistic dreams may be something that afflict you, and because of this unrealistic dreams, unrealistic demands or unrealistic plans and unrealistic expectations of others, you become too haughty, you become too arrogant as well. So beware, if an exalted planet is present anywhere in the Lagna, then definitely it's a problem where the person can show arrogance or even false sense of pride. The second is, if an exalted planet is placed in the moon, then too the person can have a false sense of pride or become haughty or even become arrogant. Why? The planet is in exaltation and is placed with the moon, which is the Manas. So beware, if you have an exalted planet which is placed anywhere in the, along with the moon, in any houses, especially which are related to the Lagna or the Kendras, then in that matters of that placement, the person may become too haughty or too arrogant. For example, a person who has exalted Venus in the 4th house in Pisces along with moon, then moon is also very strong and Pisces is exalted for a Sagittarius ascendant native. Then such a person can become very proud in his own house. He may put down other members of the family saying that, what have you achieved? I am the one who has achieved everything. I am the one who runs this house. I am the one who feeds you. The moment you use such words, I am the one who runs this house. I am the one who feeds you. I am the one who gives you everything. You are nothing by yourself. You are spoiling all the auspicious yogas at one go. One sentence can destroy all the yogas in your life. So be very, very careful when you use such words that I am the one who does everything for you without me, even to your own child. Don't ever tell your child, without me you are nothing. Never tell that. You can try and explain to the child that you are yet not reached the state where you can fend for yourself. So I am your guide, I am your provider. But never say without me you are nothing. I am the one who feeds you, and to any family member, anyone, while when such a placement is in the 4th house. But in general, never tell anybody that you are the one who does for others, you are the one who provides for them, and without you they are nothing. That one sentence, that one belief, that one attitude will spoil all your yogas in your life, and from then on you will face just troubles and troubles and troubles. So be very, very careful. What destroyed Ravana? Ravana was destroyed by his arrogance. And his arrogance was based on what? Power, that I am something, I am everything, nobody can fight me, nobody can defeat me. Because he thought he was special, because he had got a boon. So be very, very careful that not being, even getting close to the border of arrogance. Be as humble as possible, because humility is the key where yogas has to be successful and click for you, and then for you to be successful using the strength of the yogas. The Laghu Jatakam states, when all planets occupy sthira fixed rashis, the resulting yoga is called as the Musala Yoga. The native with this yoga in his chart is self-respecting. He also tends to be haughty and arrogant. Fixed signs confer on him the characteristics of fixity, immobility, stubbornness and reluctance to change his stand or concept. So if all the planets are in the fixed rashis, fixed signs, then too a person can become arrogant because they are fixed, so you are not flexible enough. In the movable signs you are still better off. However, if it's a fixed sign and you have exalted planets, especially sun or moon getting involved, then there is a higher chance that such a person may show arrogance and then spoil the yogas in his horoscope and not be able to utilize them. A very unique yoga which talks about sannyasa. Sannyasa is where you give up everything and you become a yogi. And so various planets can make you a yogi. One of the important placements is that of Ketu, which can make you give up everything, because the planet Ketu is a planet of negation. However, Shloka says that when Saturn gets involved in giving you the sannyasa, then too you can become arrogant. And the reason being is that when you give up or when you renounce things and you feel that you have made such a big sacrifice, you have renounced everything, you are not materialistic and you are different from people, you are special because you have the courage to give up everything. Then if Saturn is involved, means that Saturn is getting you bereft of everything. That means Saturn's inimical or the negative energy is more prevalent on you rather than the positive. Why? Saturn follows rules and regulations. Saturn follows structure. The structure in a life is also about the following all the ashramas, including the Grihastha ashrama, not giving up. And so when Saturn goes against its very character of following the rules and regulations, following all the ashramas, working hard, supporting people, being committed to your family, standing by your family, taking care of them, doing all your duties and responsibilities. If Saturn is involved in giving you the sannyasa, then somewhere the negative attributes of Saturn are also involved, and hence you can also become somebody who's arrogant. Now, a sign of an afflicted Mars. If Mars is also afflicted, especially related to some specific placement like in the 11th house, then too a person can become arrogant. He may also have good relations and gain from society also. However, at the same time, if especially Mars gets exalted in the 11th house in Capricorn, then there can be a challenge, because then such a person may, this is for a Pisces ascendant native, the Capricorn rules the 11th sign, and Mars gets exalted there, which it does in Capricorn, then the person can become too haughty. However, just by Mars placement in Capricorn and exaltation may not make a person haughty. However, it may make the person a little more aggressive and assertive over others, which may give the feeling that this person is arrogant and haughty, because of which he is directing others and trying to be aggressive with others. And so if you have Mars which is exalted in the 11th house for a Pisces ascendant native, then too one has to be careful. Mars exalted in the Lagna also for a Capricorn ascendant native, especially if the Lagna Lord is not well placed, also gives you the signs or gives you the probability of being arrogant. So you need to be careful if Mars is exalted in the Lagna for a Capricorn ascendant native and Saturn is not well placed, or Saturn is weak or afflicted. And now last but not the least one, that too from Parashara himself, and it goes like this. If the sun is in Agamavastha, the native will be distressed due to enemies, fickle-minded, evil-minded, emaciated, devoid of virtuous acts, and intoxicated with pride. Now, intoxicated with pride is truly hitting much above your weight, which means that you are somebody who is not ready to see any reason and is filled with pride, intoxicated with pride, and heaven help such a person, because the heavens will fall terribly on such a person if the person is not able to control. Now, the way I look at it is that while astrological placements give you yoga's placement also give you the tendency that you can be arrogant. So this is a wake up call to you that if you have such placements, be a little careful, because you may assume that you are not arrogant while you may be. So the best remedy for you to be is normally be humble. Don't boast. A lot of times we boast that I have done this, I am such or such person, especially if you are loved and people follow you or people respect you a lot, then too somebody can become arrogant and become egoistic. You win a seat, a political seat, then too you win power, you can become intoxicated with power. So be very, very humble. The other thing is to take feedback. Take feedback from your family members, take feedback from your closest friends or those people who will not hesitate to tell you the truth, and ask them, do you feel that am I arrogant? Do you feel that I am too proud, too boastful? Especially if you think you have achieved something. Sometimes we may not have achieved much, yet we may come across to people that we are arrogant and we are too proudy. So be a little careful and be on the safer zone of humility rather than cross the line and of self-respect as we think, but become too arrogant and too boastful and spoil all the yogas and then spoil our life and spoil all our karmas. The moment you are haughty, you are boastful, and you are arrogant, then you don't only spoil good effects in your life through the yogas, you in fact spoil the soul, you spoil many lives to come. So refrain from arrogance, look at these placements if you have them, be careful, seek feedback and practice humility. The more severely you practice humility, the better for you. So friends, please like this video, please share this video, and if you are looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Until some other time with some other video, this is your friend, astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Once more with you with Eid Mubarak. Ciao.